And make no mistake, the burnout is real, and so is the danger. Every warrant they serve, every door they approach, carries the risk of a violent confrontation. The fugitives they hunt are desperate. They know that if they are caught, their life as they know it is over. That desperation makes them unpredictable. It makes them lethal. The cost of this job is not theoretical. In January 2018, the reality of that risk came home. Deputy U.S. Marshal Christopher David Hill, an Army veteran and a father, was part of a team serving a warrant in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. As the team moved to arrest the suspect, gunfire erupted from the second floor. Deputy Hill was killed in the line of duty. He was 45 years old. That is the shadow that hangs over every briefing room. You accept the risk when you pin on the star. You prepare for it with training, with armor, with tactics. But your true protection is the person standing to your left and to your right. This isn't just a team. It is a brotherhood forged in the fire of high-threat entries. They look out for each other because they know that in the chaos of a breach, they are all they have. The Lone Star Fugitive Task Force operates in the silence between the headline and the conviction. They are the guardians standing at the gate, the force that ensures that no matter how fast you run or how far you go, you cannot outrun the consequences of your actions. For the men and women of the task force, there is no mission accomplished banner. As one fugitive is processed and put in a cell, the printer in the office is already spitting out the next warrant. A new file is opened, a new target is identified, and the hunt begins again. May 11th, 2022, Austin, Texas. In a quiet apartment on the east side, a rising star is bleeding out on the bathroom floor. Her name is Anna Moriah Wilson. To the world, she is Mo, a 25-year-old phenomenon in the world of professional gravel cycling. She is strong, she is kind. She is favored to win the race she came to town for, but she will never make it to the starting line. By the time first responders breach the door, the shooter is long gone. There is no smoking gun. There is no suspect in handcuffs. There is only silence. This is the moment the clock starts ticking. In the chaotic hours that follow, the Austin Police Department realizes they aren't dealing with a robbery gone wrong. They are dealing with a targeted execution, a crime of passion. And the person they suspect is already making moves to vanish off the face of the earth. When a killer runs, local jurisdiction hits a wall. A city cop can't chase a suspect to New York. A sheriff can't follow a fugitive to Costa Rica. That is when they call the specialists. That is when they call the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force. You might know the name U.S. Marshals from old westerns, dusty badges and lever-action rifles. Forget that image. Today, the Marshals are the apex predators of the federal justice system. They are the oldest federal law enforcement agency in America, forged in 1789. But their methods are cutting edge. The Lone Star Fugitive Task Force is their heavy hitter in Texas. It's a hunter-killer team, metaphorically speaking, comprised of federal agents, local police, and state troopers. They operate in a jurisdiction that is unforgiving. 68 counties, 93,000 square miles, and 800 miles of porous international border. Their mandate is terrifyingly simple. Find the people who do not want to be found. In 2023 alone, Marshals arrested over 73,000 fugitives nationwide. That's a stadium full of criminals. But statistics don't bleed. Statistics don't grieve. To understand the grit of this unit, you have to look at one case. The case of the ghost in the yoga studio. Let's go back to the days after Mo Wilson's murder. The prime suspect is identified: Caitlin Armstrong, a 34-year-old yoga instructor and real estate agent. The motive? Jealousy. A complex, toxic love triangle involving Wilson and Armstrong's boyfriend, Colin Strickland. On May 12th, police bring Armstrong in. They have her in the interrogation room. But due to a clerical error, a discrepancy with her date of birth on an unrelated warrant, they have to let her go. She walks out of that station, and she runs. This is the nightmare scenario, a murder suspect with a head start. Armstrong doesn't panic. She plans. She sells her Jeep Grand Cherokee to a CarMax for $12,200 in cash. She is liquid. She is mobile. She flies from Austin to Houston, then Houston to New York's LaGuardia Airport. And then, silence. For the investigators of the Lone Star Task Force, this is the dead zone. The trail has gone cold in the most densely populated city in America. But this is where the investigative art kicks in. You don't just chase the person, you chase the paper. You chase the digital exhaust. They track her to Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey. They scour the flight manifests. Nothing. No Caitlin Armstrong on any flight. Most people would stop there. The task force digs deeper. They start looking not for her name, but for her face. They start looking for people she knows. And they find it. She didn't fly as Caitlin Armstrong. She flew using the passport of someone else. A person who looked just enough like her to fool a TSA agent. San Jose, Costa Rica. The game has changed. This is no longer a domestic manhunt. This is an international operation. The Lone Star Task Force escalates the investigation to major case status. This unlocks the full weight of the U.S. government. The Office of International Operations gets involved. The Diplomatic Security Service is activated. They know she is in Costa Rica. But Costa Rica is a jungle, both geographically and socially. It is a place where people go to get lost. Armstrong is smart. She heads to Santa Teresa Beach, a remote paradise known for dirt roads, surfing, and yoga. It's the perfect cover. She isn't hiding in a hole. She is hiding in plain sight. She adopts aliases. Beth. Liz. Ari Martin. She changes her skin. She cuts her hair and dyes it dark brown. She even undergoes plastic surgery. When they eventually find her, she has a bandage on her nose and bruises under her eyes. She has a receipt in her possession for $6,350 worth of cosmetic procedures. She is literally trying to carve away her old identity to build a new one. She starts teaching yoga at a hostel. She makes friends. She integrates. She thinks she has won, but she makes one fatal mistake. She underestimates the reach of the marshals. The task force isn't just looking for a face. They are looking for a pattern. They know she loves yoga. They know her habits. Agents on the ground in Costa Rica, working with local authorities, start turning over stones in the yoga community. And there it is, a handwritten login at a yoga studio. The name matches one of the aliases they suspected. It is the loose thread that unravels the whole sweater. June 29th, 2022. Day 43 of the hunt. Don John's Lodge, Santa Teresa. The sun is shining. The surf is up. This is not a SWAT raid with flashbangs and battering rams. This is a quiet approach. Costa Rican police, guided by martial intelligence, walk up to a woman who calls herself Ari. They ask for her passport. She claims it's not on her. They ask her name. She lies. But the database doesn't lie. There is no record of an Ari Martin entering the country. The facade cracks. The yoga teacher, the surfer, the new woman. It all falls away. Caitlin Armstrong confesses her true identity. The 43-day global game of cat and mouse is over. She is deported. She is flown back to Houston. And finally, she is returned to Austin, to the very city where Mo Wilson took her last breath. In November 2023, a jury found Caitlin Armstrong guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to 90 years in prison. Justice, in this case, was slow. It was complicated, but it was absolute. For the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force, the Armstrong case was a headline. But the reality is, they do this every single day. While the cameras were focused on the Armstrong trial, the task force was already hunting the next target. They tracked Joe Michael Rubio, wanted for murder, all the way to Nuevo Laredo, Mexico. They hunted Romeo Nance, a mass shooter who killed 8 people in Illinois, cornering him at a gas station in Natalia, Texas. The danger is constant. These officers walk into the unknown every time they serve a warrant. They are dealing with desperate people who have nothing left to lose. But they do it because of a simple promise. A promise to the families of the victims. A promise that says, you can run, you can hide, you can change your name and your face. But you cannot outrun your past. We are the U.S. Marshals, and we never stop looking. 4 o'clock in the morning. This is the hour when the rest of the world is most vulnerable, deep in REM sleep, completely unaware of the monsters that might be sleeping 2 streets over. But in the cold, blue-black darkness of a Texas pre-dawn, a different kind of day is already beginning. There are no sirens wailing. There are no red and blue lights flashing against the suburban houses. There is only the low, guttural rumble of idling engines and the metallic click of plate carriers being strapped tight. This is a world of whispers. It is a world of calculated violence held in check by extreme discipline. This is the hunt. And then the silence breaks. Not with a whimper, but with a thunderclap. A sharp, rhythmic rapping on a heavy wooden door, followed immediately by a voice that leaves no room for negotiation. "U.S. Marshals, we have a warrant. Open the door." Out here, across the sprawling concrete heat of the cities and the dusty, forgotten back roads of the Lone Star State, there are predators. These aren't people who forgot to pay a speeding ticket. These are men and women who have shattered society's most sacred trusts. They are wanted for capital murder, for aggravated assault, for crimes so violent they leave permanent scars on a community. They think they've vanished into the cracks of the system. They think they are ghosts. But they are wrong, because there is a group of men and women whose sole job, whose entire existence, is to prove that no one vanishes. You are not dealing with a normal police squad here. You are looking at the U.S. Marshals Lone Star Fugitive Task Force. They are one of the most elite fugitive hunting units on American soil.